Last month I did something I've always wanted to do. I joined a book club. The thought of joining a book club has always really appealed to me, but it's also made me kind of anxious. I've never been one for group settings. I always kind of feel a little nervous around big groups of people, and I really struggle speaking in big groups of people, but I've always really wanted to join a book club, and I was close to accepting the fact that that was probably never going to happen for me, and it has. So I'm really happy about it, and I want to talk a little bit about the book club itself and about the book club book for October. So yeah, let's get into it. So I was scrolling through Instagram one day and I saw a bookshop post about a book club that was starting up there. And I messaged my friend Saskia and I said, look, I know we're both anxious girlies and this is probably a little bit scary for both of us, but there's this book club that's starting and I think it would be really fun, so I think we should do it together. And that is what we've done. If you're like me and you've wanted to join a book club but you've been worried about it, I just want to offer you some reassurance and give you a little nudge to go and try it. Go and join a book club or start one of your own if that's what you're worried about. Take a friend like I did. That was something that really helped me. I honestly wouldn't have done it without taking a friend. I'm really glad that I did do it, and I think if for any reason Saskia missed a session or something like that, I think I could go on my own. And it's really good to try things like this and put yourself out of your comfort zone within reason. You might surprise yourself, you might have a really good time, you might make some new friends. So yeah, I would really recommend it any way that feels okay for you, you know? So September's meetup was more of an orientation session. We settled in, kind of got to know everyone a little bit, and all talked about our favourite books we had read so far this year. I took A Botanical Daughter by Noah Medlock. It was a book I loved. Probably one of my favourite reads from the year so far. So yeah, it was really nice to kind of get a feel for what everyone else reads and to tell people about this book, and everyone seemed to really like it, so that was cool. And then we bought the October book, we voted on the November book, we got little goodie bags, which was really cute. And yeah, we just kind of sat, talked about books, did a little quiz, met some really lovely girls who we've since followed on Instagram. And yeah, it was just a really nice evening, and I'm really looking forward to October's meetup. It's still a couple of weeks away and I'm desperate to talk about this book, so I figured the best place for me to come and do that would be here on BookTube. So without more rambling about book clubs and other things, let's get into talking about the book. So our pick for October was Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. This is a horror thriller book, and honestly I think it was a great choice. My initial thoughts on the book prior to reading it was that it sounded really interesting, but I was a little bit worried about the size of it. It doesn't look that big here, but it's about 400 or so pages, maybe just under or a little bit over. And I've been drifting towards the shorter books this year just because it's kind of the first year that I feel like I've really got back into reading, and I've wanted to try and keep the momentum going. So reading longer books is kind of more likely to throw me into a reading slump because it becomes a chore. That was not the case. That was not the case at all. I was also worried that I wasn't going to finish it in time, and that could not have been further from the reality of it. I read this book when I was in London with my boyfriend a week or so ago for his birthday, and I started reading it in the morning on the tube when we were like going out for the day, and I finished it back in our hotel that evening. So I started it at about 11 and I finished it at about 7, bearing in mind we were out all day at museums and bookstores and things. I was just reading this on the tube, and then for a couple of hours when we got back to the hotel, like in between getting home and going out for dinner. I could not put it down. I did not want to put it down. I honestly, if it wasn't London, I would have been reading it, walking around, and people, yeah, it just would have been a whole thing. But I was so gripped. It was just so good. It was so good. I really liked it. So let me tell you a bit about it and tell you why I liked it so much. So the book follows Mallory Quinn. She is a recovering drug addict. She's about 18 months sober when the book starts, and it starts out with her in this experiment, and Early on in the book, I thought this was kind of out of place, like the introduction kind of didn't really make sense to me, and then it made a lot of sense as I progressed through the book. And she's nannying for this little boy named Teddy, and he's really smart, very creative, and he has an imaginary friend called Anya, and he draws a lot of pictures. So I am going to try and keep this review as spoiler free as possible, but I do want to show you the first picture that he draws and maybe one other picture further into the book, just so you can get a feel for what they are. So the first picture is a very lovely little bunny. Cute, right? As the book progresses, these cute little pictures of bunnies and things very quickly start to turn sinister. Mallory starts noticing that his drawings go from a bunny and like an air balloon and cute things to a woman being murdered and buried. So all of his colouring and drawing supplies get confiscated and he's not allowed to draw any more pictures. But the pictures don't stop. As the story progresses, Teddy's drawings become so sophisticated, so artistically technical, and it's very clear that he is not the one drawing the pictures. Van Gogh, is that you? I really liked how these pictures could be used as a tool for the reader to try and uncover this mystery themselves. And I actually really loved putting my little detective hat on and trying to uncover the story in the drawings. You're obviously not given enough information to do that, but they do start to make sense and you do kind of begin to uncover the mystery as the story goes. So one thing I loved about this book is that it's very twisty and really keeps you guessing. As Mallory is a recovering addict, she second guesses herself a lot, she doubts herself a lot, and that makes you wonder if she is a reliable narrator, and it does make you second guess her. So I really liked that as I was trying to uncover the story, I was going, hold on, is this right? Is this happening? Is this thing actually happening? And honestly, I think with this book, if you think you know what's happening or you think you know what's going to happen, you could be a little bit right, but I don't know that you'll guess the plot in its entirety, like the end twist. I don't think you'll see coming. It was very fast paced. Like I said, I read this in a day, in a matter of hours, because I was just so gripped by it. I didn't want to put it down. All in all, I really enjoyed this book and I thought it was a great addition to the horror books that I've been reading, and it makes me really want to explore the horror genre more. So if you have any similar or just any other horror book recommendations, then please leave them in the comments below. This was a really great book club read. I'm really glad that this was our first book club read. I'm really looking forward to the second one, and I really can't wait to get to book club and talk about this book with everyone else. So yeah, really loved it. I think I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. So yeah, it was a successful book club if you ask me. If you have read this book, feel free to talk about it in the comments, spoiler free, or slide into my DMs if you want to talk all things spoilers. I would also really like to say a quick thank you to you if you commented on my first ever booktube video. I was really nervous about posting it, but all of the comments were so lovely and welcoming. It's made me feel really at home here and really welcomed. So yeah, thank you, really appreciate it. I would like to get a little bit better at reviewing books in video form, but until I do so, you'll be able to find my review for this book on my blog. My website, my social medias and everything will be linked in the description, so feel free to go have a read, have a follow, you know, all that. I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. Comment below if you are part of a book club, what your book club is reading at the moment, and if not, then let me know what you're reading at the moment. And yeah, thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye!